Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Misfits Racing League broadcast. And we're here once again, very early for those in North America and potentially Europe. But of course, we are late because it is the Oceanic Division. It is round 2, and we are here for Silverstone. Joining me just as last week, Seb. How you doing? We had Austria last week. Now we're here for some Silverstone. What can we expect out of this grid today?
Oh, tell you what, you're gonna expect some good racing because this is the best. This is the best circuit in my opinion, or one of the best in the world. This is the most fun you'll ever have on a track. So expect some good racing. You got some good overtaking opportunities, a lot of straights, a lot of places you can get a good toe in. It's going to be interesting to see how people's setups will affect how they run. This is a circuit where you'll run around 3-4 wings, but it'll be interesting to see if people go just a little higher to have that extra grip through, Village, the Loop, Cops, Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, or will they just go for lower downforce, maybe 2-4 wings, just to get that extra half a tenth on the straights?
Yeah, for sure. Of course, we have the calendar. British Grand Prix. It's round 12 for the whole of the season 3 in Misfits. But of course, as the Oceanic grid began last week, that was round 1 for Austria. We had a wet race. Now we're here in Silverstone. What do you think about rain here in Silverstone? Potential for rain here the same we saw in Austria, or do you think it's a little bit less likely? It was kind of shocking to see in Austria, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because the way the game works is, obviously we have dynamic weather, but it's always really random when it comes to this stuff. Silverstone's there's a good chance that when it rains it will pour. So, and when it rains in Silverstone, always provides good racing because you got all these long straights. So
Yeah, for
allows
sure.
people to get alongside each other and race.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the teams. We've got 20 drivers lining up on the grid today. We got a couple of reserves in on the mix, but of course the full-time rosters read as follows. We have Apollo, Pepsi, and Big Impulse over at Mercedes. We have Stars and Trin for Ferrari. It's Mikau and Panda over at Red Bull, with Rez and Yukio for McLaren. Then we move on over to Renault. That's Combined and Ruben. Ruben is filling in for Hobbsy, I believe, now on a full-time basis. Hobbsy, I think, having some net problems, so unfortunate to see him go from the grid, but Ruben's in there taking over duties for Renault. Wangod and Psycho for AlphaTauri. We have Zaino and Ben the Bear for Racing Point. Revo and I believe Shrimp is absent, but yeah, Revo and Shrimp over at Alfa Romeo. We have Big Al and Gazieg for Haas. And then it's going to be Simdaga and T-Mac rounding out this grid over for the Williams squad. Taking a look at the standings, we have Revo leading things right now, 25 points for him. Mikau there, 18 points, and his teammate Red Panda 15 points behind right now. Red Bull leading that championship by a few points. Revo's squad with Alfa Romeo in second. And then it's the Haas boys rounding out the top 3. Combined demoted from P3 to P9, I believe, following post-race penalties, if my graphics correct there. Multiple driver position changes as well after that last race. So with all that being said, though, we are going to jump into racing action now. And let's get to going around Silverstone here. Looks like we got a little bit of clouds in the sky, so that's always interesting to see if they get any wet weather through the quali. 19 out of 28 potential drivers. Zaino having connection issues, it would seem, yet again here. But Revo, Gazieg, Impulse, Yukio, we have Apollo, Combined, Panda, Ben the Bear. Ruben Stars is making his debut today. He missed Austria last week. Wangod as well in 11th. Mikau 12th. T-Mac 13th. Zaino 14th currently on the timing tower, as you can see. Alex Biddo here in a reserve capacity for McLaren. Simdaga as well on the grid. Big Al, Psycho. So good sized grid for what I hope to be a good race here. Revo heading out of the pit lane now. He'll be the first driver to do so. He's in the Alpha. Only 2 drivers currently on those medium compound tires. As I say, Impulse switching onto the soft. So we'll have to see what these drivers set lap times in. And Ruben has come across to tell us that there's no rain.
These times should come down from the start of the session by a fair bit, considering it's overcast conditions. obviously just through the stream on board with Revo under the Alfa Romeo drivers program, esports drivers program.
Coming out of left field. Now, I had an opportunity to see one league race around here in Silverstone so far this week. That was for the European MRL grid. That's Tuesday that took place. Now, something that we saw was on the entry into Maggots Beckett's Chapel here on the exit out of Cops. A few of the drivers coming into that inside wall, coming out of Cops Curve, and 3 drivers in that race spun out. I think one was brutally terminal, and the other 2 had to get wing changes. So we'll have to see if anybody struggles here in this grid. But
oversteery setups can really make your life difficult during the race at comp, especially on those worn tires. And if your tires start overheating and you don't have a great setup for a race, then you're going to make your world very difficult. It's very easy to overcorrect as well.
I'm gonna have to just quickly turn you up now because you were much louder earlier, and now you're not. Let's see now. Apologies for the delay to the quali lap here, but yes, Revo flying down the Wellington Straight in through Brooklands, coming down into Luffield.
Get that short shift up, use all of that exit curb through Woodcote, take as much inside line as possible, just decrease the amount of track you cover. That's just flat out through there, no need to worry about that, that's not a corner anymore. Maggots, and you got Beckett's, this is just so much fun. Imagine driving this in a real F1 car. Uses the toe of Ruben, it's not going to give him much, but it'll give him something. Put this down to 6th gear, right hander of Stowe, keep it inside the track limits, braking just at the start of the curb, 3rd gear up to 4th, use a lot of that inside curb, wash it out to the outside, fight the traction, and you've got a lap of Silverstone.
Yeah, second lap, Ben the Bear, 124.2, pretty well, 194, the Simdaga, 124.9 in the Williams. As the times start to come across, Apollo, a 126 flat from him. It's going to be Panda into P3 in the Red Bull.
Expect it to be close. I was looking at times posted from, I'm pretty sure last night, and people were within 0.3 of each other. So expecting Impulse to be competitive today. I'm interested to see Wise on the mediums, maybe he's saving up just to sort of softs in case safety car were to come out later in the race. Taking a bit too much grass on the inside of the Chapel curve. But
coming down through Stowe now, using that inside in the Mercedes.
Didn't have a lot of confidence on the throttle. They could have pinned it down a bit more. They're just able to wash it out wide a bit more, and he takes a bit too much inside curb of the club section. You want to kind of kiss that inside curve of the last corner, not completely right over it. See, that's 25.4 was a pretty good time on mediums. We'll say that much. Like I said, he is going to be competitive this session as McDowell goes P3. 3 tenths in front of his teammate.
Ruben jumps into 10th position as well here. His teammates flying combined YouTuber. Ruben into the top 10 on his first run. His teammate combined. He's already got 1 race under his belt this season. Coming down the Wellington Straight, looking for a little bit of slipstream off of Gaziag as he makes his way through into Brooklands. Not much going to be there for him.
It's a bit out the way. It's a bit out the way. You're going to be losing time doing that. Fight your way up the gears. Just keep it to the right. Try and cover as little distance as possible. This is flat. Inside. Wonderful. Like I said, not even a corner during qualifying. These cars have so much downforce. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, the thing is with qualifying here, and you're taking the Copse corner flat, is you just get into that race, you got that heavy fuel load, and you could just get a tank slapper.
Yeah, exactly. And just even then, just a little overcorrection when you're trying to fight that slide that you get. I will say though, when you get in a rhythm on this track, it is like heaven. A perfect lap around here. It's hard to get, but when you get it, it is the greatest feeling of all time.
He jumps
Bone
ahead of
comes
Ruben.
across. Yeah, it's pretty good. I wasn't expecting that from him, but that's still pretty good. 3 turns off of Impulse. Sure, Combine does enjoy this track a lot. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
We saw a really tight grid formed up in Austria. We saw some rain in that race. Now, that's a DRS train circuit. Silverstone, not nearly as much.
It can get pretty, oh, I say pretty bad though. It depends how you look at it. You see DRS trains as a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, it didn't work. Well, we didn't get to see it last week.
Yeah, true.
We saw really tight gaps regardless, but we didn't get to see the DRS come into full swing because of that rain element. Here, DRS is going to more than likely be enabled through the race, but it's not going to have that same train element.
Yeah, you'll see some good racing through Stowe and Vale. Maybe get into a bit of it in Club. You'll definitely see some good racing in Brooklands and Luffield. I hope no one's brave enough to try and. Oh,
he went round right where we were talking about, on the corner of Cops on the inside. He came out and then he spun it around, and then his teammate has just set a P7. That's Big Al, 125.194 from him. Exactly 1 second off of P2. Lex Bitto flying out of Chapel now. Lex Bitto, a driver that we've seen throughout Misfits Season 3 with a good portion of speed, got some wins. I think he's leading 1, if not 2 championships right now.
I believe he was involved in that unfortunate accident at the end of, or start of the last safety car restart at the end of last race. So.
Yeah, that was a very unique situation, I think, and I didn't really get to catch the end of that one the way I would have liked. Hopefully, we don't have any of those issues today.
If the internet doesn't cut out or anything.
Apollo, he's coming through Maggots Beckett's. He's in the Merc, and he's going to be looking to improve on a 126 flat. And so far, it seems to be that he's doing just that.
Obviously had a mistake somewhere in his lap. Would have liked to see him take a tighter line on the exit of Chapel Curve. He's just got a bit wide in Stowe. That'll be worth about a 10th or 2. Look it through.
9 from him. 125.214.
Just from what we saw on board, he's left about a 10th on the board.
Take a look at his teammate now. Impulse. Coming out through Luffield.
On the softs now, keen to see how he goes. Building up the speed as you take it to Cops. Just a little push of the steering wheel up. Get it around. The only way to gain time through that corner is by minimising scrub of the tyres. Uses the curbs just about well. Could have taken more on that right-hander of Beckett's. All is well.
Hugging that inside. Actually,
There
he went
we
a little
go.
deep,
Gets
just the same
yeah.
as his teammate, but I think he got it a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
For the Vale
He
chicane.
got it that bit more under control. He just turned in earlier, I think, than Pepsi did from memory. This is 24.6. I think I definitely believe there's time on the board for him there.
And the bear.
When the bear goes the fastest.
Yeah, Revo on that 124 flat, if I'm not mistaken, was his first run. And the Bear now having completed 2 runs. He's into the 123s. Revo is on an out lap presently. He's coming down through Cops, so we'll see him begin shortly. Stars is up massively coming through Sector 2. He's about to come through the club. Final turn here. What's it going to be from him? It's a massive improvement. Nearly 9/10 for the Ferrari, but it's only good enough to get him into 13th position at the moment. Mac in the Williams. He's about to jump onto that Wellington straight to make his way through Sector 2.
Meter board, brake and turn in at the same point. It's got that in. Yeah, this is very neat from him. It's very nice to the throttle. He could probably pin it down just that tad bit earlier. Just give himself that extra power out the corner. Seems like a pretty good line through there. Maybe could have washed out a bit wider just to minimise scrubbing. Had the space available, could have used it. So he takes this. That's pretty good. He's up 4/10 at the moment. It's coming together nicely for him. Oh, that's wide. Yeah. One thing that about Stowe is that it can deceive you very easily. The corner, it just you have that little kink in it, and then it just gets more and more curved as you go through it, more degrees of rotation required, so it can kind of put you off. And if you don't turn in early for it, then you just get caught out. That's a very good lap time, though, either way, from T-Mac.
Revo's just about to finish up. He's coming down through club now. He improves a 123.8, 1-2. So Ben the Bear, still some work to do. He's out in the grass right now on the exit of Chapel here. Gazieg and Zaino are both on laps. It looks like Gazieg's invalidated. Zaino, however, has not as he makes his way out of the Cops corner, excuse me.
Ben the Bear needs to hurry back to the pits if he's thinking of doing another run. I'm not even sure he might be able to get one in such a long pit lane here at Silverstone. Like about 30 odd seconds, probably more to be honest.
Zaino's throttle and brake input here, I don't know if it's me on a spectator level, but it just seems absolutely odd.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. Yeah, 128 flat. Based on the throttle and brake input, that's what it sounded like was a 128. I have to say.
He didn't look very confident with just all the steering inputs and the way the car was handling. And like you said, the throttle and brake inputs just they didn't look confident. You can normally tell when there's no confidence in the car and no confidence in how you're driving, and it doesn't normally hook up.
Ruben in the Renault coming through Beckett's. Exiting out of Chapel now. He's up half a second here on the hanger straight. Out through club, it's P10 for him. We saw him there earlier. Now he's getting back there.
Like he made a mistake somewhere in his lap though, and he's pitting. So
Gazier got a fuel on the Wellington straight. Zaino coming around through into the last turn once again. What's the time going to be this time? An improvement of 7/10, but it's not enough to get out of the 127s. Gap to leader right now from first all the way down through to 10th is 1.3. You have an 8/10 gap from P1 to P5. Of course, the gaps, I have to say, between P1 and P2, actually, just the top 4 right now within 5/10. It's very tight. But you have, of course, all the way down throughout this grid. It is a lot tighter than it may seem with those 1-point numbers on there, considering, well, the pull time is quite significant. A 1:23.8. Very rapid. Big Al on a flyer. He's coming through left field just ahead of the Alpha Tauri. Who's that behind him? I think that is Psycho. If not, it's Wangod, and that's going to be Wangod behind Big Al.
God, yeah, he's got to be careful in Maggots and Beckett so he doesn't get in the way of people. He's just off the track on the left side. Ooh, fighting on the curb.
Yeah, he had to wrestle the car there.
Be interesting to see how he goes. Judging from the way the car's handled just in the exit of Chapelfeld, I'm interested to see how he goes in cops in the race.
Al's jumped into the pit lane here.
I think there still might be time left in qualifying, even though ours says 0, just judging from the times that people came out of the pits, but very well be wrong.
And the Bear in that racing point, he's flying through at a cop's corner now. He's coming into Maggots and Beckett's. We'll have to see what he's able to put together through Sector 2 here. He was up coming out of Sector 1 by nearly a 10th, and he's looking to get that pole time away from Revo here. He's up a 10th now, coming down into the hangar straight. Is there enough time for him to find coming through Sector 3 is a big question. He's flying for pole, but Revo's just begun a lap as well.
He's taken that lovely. Maggots, I thought he could have used more inside curb on that right-hander. Overall, it's been, from what we've seen, it's been very good. Out on the curb, get it over the right, kiss that curb, over the line. That's a not. Oh, he's just been Revo. Revo only has to improve slightly, and he's up by, well, 1/100th of a second.
Well, he's up by what he needs. He is up by what he needs, but it's the question of whether or not he'll be able to carry it through the remainder of the lap. And considering how Ben went, I think that Revo's not going to have an issue here.
How Revo took cops in, perfect. Takes.
That might have cost him right there. But he's still up by a good margin here.
Yeah, he just needs to keep it together.
I'll be shocked if he doesn't get him.
Yeah, he would be able to see the time from the top left of his screen, so just doesn't need to throw it away. Oh, he's gone a bit wide. I thought he would nearly hit that sausage curve, but I don't think it matters. It's a good call.
So he gets him.
There goes ahead of Bido. Yeah, can Bido answer Mika, who's gone?
He can't.
Oh, this is coming back.
Yeah, he blew it.
What a clutch lap from Mika then.
So that's our qualifying right there. He's done.
Look at that gap from Mika to Bido, 1,000th of a second. That is clutch. Just able to find that extra, just that little bit of time. All he needed, and he got it. Bido didn't execute on
Even the timing tower is reading that they have the same gap to leader, but it's not. There's a little bit of a difference there. Well, that definitely sets the table. Definitely sets the table. Of course, Revo on pole position. You have Ben the Bear there in second with Mikau rounding out your top 3. It's Alex Bido in 4th with Impulse rounding out your top 5 for this one. We are going to go down through this grid, jumping through the formation lap. But of course, if you're just tuning in, my name's Strifium. Joining me is Seb, and you are here tuning into the Misfits Racing League Oceanic Division. It is round 2, British Grand Prix, and it is a very iconic circuit, as Seb had a nice talk about earlier. It is, of course, Silverstone, and considering the times that we've seen set in the qualifying here, we're gonna have a cracking race.
From P3 to P14, that is 1.1 second gap, just about.
No sunshine. It's just a little bit of doom and gloom, but the tires are going to be dry. We've been told it's going to be a dry campaign for this one. Trin getting back in, fortunately. 19 drivers.
British weather.
In British weather, yeah, that's right.
Expecting Ben the Bear to get a good start here. And the issue is that turn one is very tough. If Revo just gives him enough room to make the corner, but not enough room to fight, Ben the Bear's going to have to back out as long as Ben the Bear does not get in front of Revo before turn one.
Timer ticking down now. 10 seconds for these drivers before they hit the grid for the formation lap, and then we'll jump through again who is going to be lining up for you all.
As you go through this formation lap, I'm just going to fill up my water bottle real quick.
Sounds fantastic. Of course, let's take a look again. Revo on pole position in the Alfa Romeo, the Sauber Esports development driver, of course, Ben the Bear there, right behind him in second, and Mikau in third. You have Alex Vito there in fourth, Impulse in fifth, Panda in sixth, T-Mac in seventh with Simdogga in eighth. You have Wangod in ninth, combined in 10th. Trin in 11th with Ruben in 12th. That's Big Al in 13th with Apollo 14th in the Mercedes. Stars 15th on the medium compound tires. The only driver on this grid on the yellow rimmed compound. You have Psycho in 16th, Gazieg 17th, Zaino and Yukio rounding out your 18-19 drivers here. And Yukio in that McLaren on the hards. So you have 17 drivers here, all on the softs, 2 drivers on the harder compound tires, and not even the same compound. You have Stars on the mediums, Yukio on the hards. So it's going to be very interesting to see how those strategies unfold here. You can see the soft medium or the soft hard on display there for the predicted pit stop strategy. Of course, if you're just tuning in, again, my name's Strifium. Share the stream, get your friends in here, because I have a feeling we're going to see some drama and some super intense racing action, as that's what we love to see about Formula One. Of course, it's Silverstone, where it all began. And we have a fast lineup for you.
On a fast track. I'm interested in the tire choices. A lot of people outside the top 10 starting on the soft and fresh softs, apart from Stars and Yukio, who opt for medium and hards respectively, as my game has
Talked a little bit about the tires. They're very unique there, with them 2 out of the whole grid on the harder compound tires.
I believe my game's is not working at the moment. That's great.
Oh, and the Bear, Revo now approaching the front row of this grid, as the rest of the drivers do the same at the rear, coming through that final turn.
I'm gonna have to watch off your stream because my game's not working now, which is excellent.
Oh, I will take us through this race start now. We have 3, 4, 5 red lights on here in Silverstone. The drivers are getting ready to go. The lights are out. The engines are revving, and the AI car has gone into the rear of somebody there. That is the Alpha Tauri, if I'm not mistaken, of Psycho, who disconnected on this lap. It may have been somebody else entirely. It was Wangod, but we're away racing here. Revo with a fantastic launch off the line. You have Ben the Bear right on him like glue, and there's a great train of cars coming down through turn 1 right now. Not too much drama. A couple wheel-to-wheel exchanges you can see on the timing tower right now, but we're focusing in on the lead of this race. But we're going to switch back now quick to Stars. He's got a front row seat to some serious action right now. Apollo on the outside of Trin. Trin's car is in AI, so hopefully he'll be able to get back in here. And it looks like there's a little bit of contact. Could be some desync. It's the Ferrari's wheel-to-wheel coming through Brooklands right now, and Stars is just sending it in that Ferrari.
He's going for it, hasn't he? I think he's just punted Trin off, hasn't he? Trin's off into the wall now.
Yukio sitting on Psycho, coming through Cops right now, and this is where we saw it happen, and there it goes. There's a big slide out from Yukio. He's into the wall. Wow. On cue.
Yeah, you could see it as well as I was talking about, just getting that slide and trying to fight it, and you overcorrect it. Delicate balance you're trying to find in that corner.
Well, VSC's been deployed as a result, I do believe, and there's a car, that's Trin, who was out of this race in Luffield. And I believe that's your car that's just left the session, so your game now. Saying bye.
Yeah. I just picked the moment. Then I had the crash report open for about a good 30 seconds. I was like waiting for that safety car to come.
Yukio's just taken a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane here, and Alex Biddo's quite tight to the rear of Mikau, looking to get that delta as tight as he can. Big question here is going to be, is anyone going to take a penalty on the green flag? And it doesn't look like anybody has. Alex Biddo was not sleeping. He's tight to the rear of Mikau, but it's not enough to make a move through Brooklyn. Somebody who might have an opportunity, though, is T-Mac, but could we see team orders coming out of the Williams squad? Stars, meanwhile, we saw it last time around. Very strong through this Luffield section, very tight to the rear of Apollo.
A bit wide there. You'll get a warning for that, I reckon. It's all about, right now, it's just all about making sure you keep in DRS range of the car in front.
Oh, and there goes Stars, and that Stars out of this race. He did it. He went through at Cops, and that is a big crash for the Ferrari, and that is on key once again, and I know where the crashes are going to happen here, and we've seen it twice. Panning out within a second of Alex Biddo wanting to close the gap to his teammate, but Alex Biddo is breathing down Mikau's neck. No yellow, or no safety car, excuse me, on that.
Panda needs to prioritise using his ERS to keep within DRS range of Biddo in this pack, because that could propel him along very nicely. Penalties already dropping so far. I thought it would just pop up on your screen before Biddo getting one.
Well, no safety car, just a VSC, a little bit of drama, and that is, of course, the Ferraris out of this race in Silverstone. You've got Apollo breathing down the neck of Ruben for P10 right now. It's the two Renaults holding down the final points position combined in Ruben. Ruben's the newest full-time driver over there. Of course, we saw Hobbsy in that seat last week. Unfortunately, he had to step down due to, I think it was technical issues. Hate to see him go, but of course, Ruben in the seat over there doing well right now in the points. I imagine Hobbsy will be happy to see that car is in good hands at the moment. Meanwhile, we have a great train flying through in the top 5 right now. 6, well, this is just a massive train through this midfield period. Simdog not too far out of reach of Impulse at the moment, and now Combines had an issue, it would seem. And it looked like that may have been Cops just the same, as he's dropped into 13th position. He was in 9th a moment ago.
Might have just had a moment, possibly. Just trying to think of why he would. Because he looked like he still carried pace on the exit of.
On the inside, Apollo through. Stone out. Ruben on the outside, leaving space. Both of these drivers super tight coming down into the Vale chicane. It's going to be Apollo. Ooh, on the inside right now. You can't get the good angles from the game, but of course we can from Big Al's point of view. He's on the inside, but he gets closed off. A little bit of a wheel bang there coming out of the Renault. Ruben looking to hunt back down 9th position. Apollo cleanly through into 9th with that Mercedes, and Big Al's looking to inherit just the same.
That's it. That was a hot spot for some battles, Stowe, Vale and Club. You're going to see a fair bit of that tonight, this morning, wherever you are watching.
Big Al. Ruben with a lockup. Big Al's looking for opportunities right now in this Haas, and he might just get them when he comes down that hanger straight if he's able to keep things nice and tight through out of Cops. He's got a great carry of momentum on the exit right now, much better than Ruben right now. The big question is, can everybody hold it nice and tidy through Cops? We saw two drivers, well, one driver confirmed retire through here.
Saw Big Al use a bit of ERS out of Luffield and through Woodford. I thought that was a bit an odd place to use it, considering you can get quite a good run on people up to Cops. So thought it would have been wiser to save it, but it's all personal preference at the end of the day.
Big Al not getting it done through into Stowe down that Hanger Straight, but he's going to have DRS down that Wellington Straight in a moment here. And he's just sticking to this Renault.
He could go for an opportunistic move into turn 3.
Well, Big Al, here's the run now coming down into Brooklands. He's on the inside. We're going to get a wheel-to-wheel exchange, and it's going to be Al tight with Ruben. Ruben, though, he gets that inside line down through Luffield, and this is going to give him an opportunity to hold. And what's the exit going to be like coming out of this Haas? It's good, but it's not great, and he's got that overtake and utilization right now. He's sticking with the Renault quite well, and the big question is, what kind of speed can you carry down through Cops here? He drops it into 7th position. He gets that wheel rotation coming through. He drops it, or pushes it back into 8th as we make our way through into the very fast winding turn sections of Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel. Now he's going to have the DRS down the Wellington Straight and overtake once again. Not Wellington Straight, sorry. Hanger Straight, excuse me. But around the outside now. And there we have it, into 10th.
He looks to have a lower downforce setup, I reckon. Just judging from how he can gain a little bit on from Woodcote to Cops.
Definitely some good power in that Haas at the moment in comparison.
Just to know, while that has happened, Panda's dropped behind Impulse. In case I think you just switched to it now. Yeah, you did.
So Impulse into 5th position. He's going to be happy about that, considering how things went in Austria. I don't think you'll want us talking about that too much, but yeah, not the best result for Impulse around Red Bull Ring. Panda, though, in the Red Bull did have a solid result, but it's not looking just the same here around Silverstone.
These two will have a right old battle, I reckon, considering they both keep it clean. That's a warning right there, or warning I say. They'll come through about 20 seconds, but Panda would have got a warning.
He had a big issue there through Chapel on that inside curbing. Making some grass, it's given him a bit of a shake, and now he's lost a few tenths as a result, and this has opened up a bit of an opportunity for Sim.
T-Max lost it in, I believe, Maggots and Beckett's.
So, just because the weather's dry doesn't mean the drivers are going to not struggle. T-Mac's going to jump in. So he's going to be off the softs now after 6 laps. Things have spaced themselves out a little bit more than I think I would have expected.
Revo's just controlling the pace at the front. Just making sure Ben the Bear's out of that DRS range.
Yeah, as Seb mentioned, yeah, we did see D-Mac off there with an issue. Thank you for your lovely input as always, Mr. Max Inkster. Glad to see you tuning in.
Wondering if T-Mac maybe hit the of Maggot. He hit that left curb, which is of the corner that's not really a corner. Just trying to think of how he spun it, because it looked like he was on the inside runoff of Beckett's. So
what I'm talking about right now is this bit of a train we've got in the top 3. Revo has not been able to run away from Ben the Bear here. And Ben the Bear not going to be too thrilled about Mikal within that second.
Well, Ben the Bear might be getting a little bit of dirty air from Revo. I don't think Revo would be prioritising running away with the race. I think he'd rather keep it clean, because even if he did run away with it, there's a high chance.
As a retirement, that's T-Mac out of this race, and it looks like it happened. Coming through Maggots and Beckett's, and that's going to be a safety car on lap 8 here in Silverstone. So, That has thrown a massive wrench into this equation. Revo leading this race, more than likely. Well, I think it's a no-brainer to pit at this point in time. Ben the Bear with a disconnect.
Yeah. Looks like I got to drive through. Did not see why.
So every driver on the grid right now onto the softs, and we've had the time and tire desync, as I know it likes to do when there's a rejoin of any kind. But Wangod is coming out of the pit lane on these medium compound tires, and he is going to beat Revo, but he's lapped, if I'm not mistaken. So am I has he been lapped? I'm almost positive he's been lapped.
No, not yet.
So the safety car has given him a very unique opportunity to catch the grid on some nice fresh mediums. And the Bear struggling with that. Why does it happen right when the safety car? That's just bad luck. Hopefully we can get an invite for him back in here. Always odd to see that. So his car currently under AI control for the moment. There we have it. He's back in. So this entire grid has pit, with Yukio being the only exception. Yukio, as I say, coming into the pit lane has that very unfortunate rev glitch, where it absolutely murders the gearbox and by extension the ears of anybody listening into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's definitely spiced things up now. I really don't know what to say about the timing of that safety car. It's come at a very unique position. It's kind of given all of these drivers an opportunity to get on these mediums. The question is it going to be mediums to the end? And another question is, can Ben the Bear please handle his internet? I thought you had 1,000 megabyte up and down, sir, Mr. Thailand.
Tell you what though, just noticing, I think Panda got caught out by the pits because he had the double stack under Mika, so that's allowed Simnoga through under the pits.
Yeah, Ben coming across telling us it's the internet. And it's the game here. Apparently his car is controlling a Red Bull. So who the heck knows? What the heck's happening with Ben? His luck.
I feel like I know what that glitch is. Just basically you hop on your car, then the game puts you on board of another car while you're still controlling your car.
Well, it shows him in that racing point now, and I hope he is there. Could be a connection desync or something. Let's take a look at that front wing. Be okay. Yeah, he's got no damage on that car. Everybody now piling into the queue. Last driver to catch it gonna be Yukio on the freshest mediums. Lap 10. Revo leading this race. Ben the Bear in second. You have Mick out rounding out your top three current podium runners. You have Bido there in fourth, who's been very tight to the rear of all of this. Impulse is going to be happy in fifth position on some fresh compound tires. Simdoga in sixth. Panda going to be wanting to close that gap to his teammate. He's in seventh. Apollo in eighth. You have Big Al in ninth. Ruben in 10th. And let's take a look at the position changes just the same here. Fastest lap right now. Well, who has it then? Trin, technically speaking. A 46.1? Okay. That's going to be Revo, if I'm not mistaken. That's 127.420, the fastest lap in this one so far. You can see Ben the Bear and Mick out not too far from it, as well as Bido and Impulse there in the 127s, just the same. Take a look at the position changes. You have The top 5 staying in the top 5 and a massive amount down the rest of this grid. Once the Yukio bunches up to this grid, he'll be happy about it, considering what happened to him on the opening lap. We saw it just on cue. Switching to that car. Safety car has not decided to come in here. Very interesting. Waiting on Yukio. So we're going to be going around again according to... Well, it's missed the pit entry, so we're definitely going around again. Can't ride on board with the Revo. The game says no.
Normally you'll know when it's coming in, where it's normally the start of sector 3, which is start of hangar straight.
Yeah, just the start of hangar straight there, yeah. Definitely an interesting race. We've seen some good overtaking. Cops claimed one driver. Maggots and Beckett's claimed another.
Luffield had an incident with the Ferraris.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So we saw Stars really muscling his way through there. Now Fraser's in the session for what reason I could not tell you. Let's take a look. Look at this grid. Everything's bunched up. The safety car. I think we should have had it come in last lap. Yukio would have caught the grid when everybody slowed things down on that hangar straight to get things dialed in.
This is the 5th lap of safety car. I think it's been out from lap 7 to lap 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Four full laps, I think, or three full laps round. Something like that.
Just about.
Well, for those just tuning in, the safety car is coming in here, and we're going to have green flag racing on lap 12. My name is Strifium. Joining me is Seb, and you're tuning in to the Misfits Racing League. It's the Oceanic Division Round 2 action, and, well, you're looking at Silverstone with a little bit of drama. 3 drivers out. Trin, Stars, T-Mac all out of this one. 16 drivers remaining. Revo, Ben the Bear, and Mikau, your top 3. When is Revo going to go? I think he's somewhat let it go here, and Ben trying to stick with him like glue.
Ben's done a good job. Hoover hasn't really caught him napping per se.
Yeah, Panda though on Sim. He's caught Sim perhaps in a bit of a lull here. He had to look through turn 1. It wasn't enough to get the move done. He's still sticking with him quite close, and Wangod tight to the rear of Gazieg just the same down through this grid, but things at the front still quite tight. Ben the Bear looking at Revo quite tight. Overtake and utilization. No DRS for 3 laps now.
Watching turn 1 on board with Pan, it just looked like his front tyres weren't heating up enough, because I reckon if he had the tyres or the tyre temps to not understeer so much in turn 1, he might have been able to have a look at a move on Simdogger into turn 3.
Ben sticking with Revo quite well here. Mikau not too far behind in the rear view. Alex sticking well with him. Coming through Maggots Beckett's now. Chapel.
Impulse has a chance to pull away from the rest of the pack and not, I'd say challenge the top 4, but keep them honest. So it would have quite a lot.
Well, you have that gap forming right now between Impulse and Sim, and between Impulse and Alex Biddo, and I'm sure Alex Biddo not going to be complaining about that.
It's just whether Biddo starts fighting now with Mikau, if he can overtake, or if he starts fighting later. But all will be seen.
Well, it's absolutely tight on this restart. You have Ruben and combined 10-11 right now. Ruben leading his teammate by just half a second presently. Combined perhaps looking to want to get that position from Ruben. And then you have Panda less than a second separating him and Sim. Sim dropping off of Impulse. Impulse dropping. So there's a gap in that middle of the field. And the Bears starting to drop off of Revo here on these medium compound tires, not having the best pace I think he wants in these, but he's just managed to keep it within a second, and this is crucial. Very, very crucial for him, because if he loses that DRS, it's going to be very difficult to stick with that alpha.
Revo's pelted it, just like to check Revo's DRS.
Revo 30% on the battery. Ben a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought so, because he really pulled out the gap when he needed to. I was like thinking that DRS would have played a part.
Mikow's running around 40 on his, and Alex Bitto isn't too far from him, which I have to say for Alex Bitto is oh, and there it is. There's another retirement. It's Yukio. The same place we've seen it all week, and now twice today. So I think that's the 4th time or the 5th time this week I've seen it. That's a car on the inside, out of cops, out of this session. Car is still going though, so I'm not entirely sure if it was a terminal retirement.
I believe it might have been voluntary. Yep, that looks like voluntary.
Cops causing some issues here. Now, Alex Bitto within a second of Mikow. Mikow's dropped out of a second of Ben. Ben, the same for Revo. So things are spacing themselves out in those podium positions. Meanwhile, we move to the middle of this field with Panda. Now he has the run on Sim up the inside, coming down through Stowe. Neatly done from him and Sim. Not a lot of opportunity, not a lot he can do with that run.
Bells gets a 3-second time, but that could be news at the end of the race. I think Panda's got a 3-second as well. I'm not sure about Simdogger. Just a note on Mikow and Bitto. Mikow falling out of DRS range of Ben the Bear is danger for him, I reckon.
I think it is as well. Alex Bitto, no slouch. Keeping things tied up in this midfield at the moment as Apollo is looking at Sim. Of course, using their Steam capabilities to represent their streams. So if you're looking for some fun viewing experiences, feel free to check them out, of course. I don't know if they're streaming presently, but worth a look perhaps. Ruben, 2/10 the gap right now, combined, hunting him down. Fight for the final points position. Combined with a smooth operation on Ruben there. Again, we saw it last lap round with Panda on Sim. Not a lot that can be done with that DRS. We'll train here in the midfield. And Alex Bitto putting on that pressure with Mikow. You can see Mikow dropping off of Ben. Ben not dropping as much off of Revo. He's still holding quite tight at that 1.3. Now 1.2. It's definitely dancing in and around that 1 second margin.
His Panda and Sim fighting just going to impulse to pull away, so.
Cops at this point, a lot of drivers, we've seen it all race long, they come through cops, they go into cops in 8th, and I've seen it happen, I do it myself. They drop it into 7th to just max the revs on the engine to get that rotation. Now you have Simdaga on the rear of Panda. He's got Apollo with him. Not enough to get the move in though.
Also, I sometimes see people do it very late in the corner. Surprises me. You should be doing it early and then just quickly back up.
Yeah, it's an 8 flat entry, and you drop it into 7th, and you're supposed to just, as soon as you get that car straightened back out through and that rev out, you get it back into 8th, and then you should be good to carry it through into that left-hand portion of Maggots Beckett's. At least that's about all the confidence I have going through there. I'm dropping it into 7th. Still a good train we're watching unfold here with Sim in the center of it. He's got Apollo on the rear and Panda ahead. And Alex Bitto very tight to the rear of Mika. We're going to jump on to the front as he is within half a second. Even more so now, 3/10.
This is the chance here. We got a good run out of Maggots and...
Oh no! Mikau
Ooh.
has lost a massive amount due to that exchange, and Alex Bitto is not happy with himself. Looks like he may have turned in on the Red Bull, and this has cost both of them a massive amount, and Impulse is going to be super happy about this.
Well, Impulse can keep them honest like Pepsi can keep Simdogger and Panda honest.
I have to say, some very, very good sportsmanship out of the Spaniard of Alex Bitto there. Not entirely sure what happened. We kind of had a side angle, not the most ideal perspective. But you love to see sportsmanship like that on track. I don't know if you'd ever see it in reality unless the stewards told you, but of course.
Yeah. In real life, these guys are, they want it all, so if...
There's a lot on the line. They don't get into that car just to have fun.
Part of it is, I don't think redressing issues like incidents really give you any brownie points with real life stewards, so...
Simdaga, we've seen him and Panda doing the tango for a few laps now. And we saw Alex with a great run on Mikau. Could we see Williams get another bull here?
Panda looks like he's struggling out of Beckett into Shuffle.
I don't know if it was enough for Sim on that exit. It just didn't seem like he had enough traction coming through there. And Apollo may have just had a better exit than both of them because he's still so tight to Sim. Oh, and there's another car. That's Gazieg. Let's take a look. Guess where? That's a safety car, and it's the same corner. It's cops on the inside. Okay. So things have now... okay. Well, that makes things extremely interesting. So there was no... okay. So soft compound to the end. Mikau, Alex Bitto, gonna be very happy and thrilled. With the exception of Mikau taking a drive-through penalty. Was that correct?
I think I saw that. One second, let me see if it comes up on...
What? Well, that is gonna be... Oh, that is not... Oh. Oh, man. That's terrible. If that's true. I didn't see it. I wasn't able to see that come up through race control.
First of all, he can't. He's gonna have to serve that after safety car.
There is a very, very unique way to serve those. I know he knows how to do it, but that's a tough pill to swallow here. I have to say, I feel for him in the Red Bull. Ben the Bear has stayed out. Alex Bido has chosen to do the same.
Interesting. I think they'll come back to bite them, to be honest with you.
Well, it's the safety car conditions, and I don't understand why they wouldn't pit when the leader of the race is pitting.
Yeah.
Now, that could be potential for a few other drivers in this grid to net some serious position.
Yeah,
Someone
that's
to
what
talk
I
about.
mean.
Well, impulse.
That's like if it's about I think 7/10 worth on the softs, fresh softs compared to I think fresh mediums. So
Impulse has lost
it's
quite a
not
few
like-
positions in this pit lane. Couple
I think he's
positions.
getting held up from all the cars. Yeah, all the cars coming by. Yeah, Ben the Bear could get very well caught out. I think there's a good chance he can finish off the podium here just from that decision. Actually, no, because Bido's also done the same thing. So
I genuinely think Simdaga is on for a podium here.
yeah,
Penalties and anything aside, Simdaga
this
is in prime real estate.
Wangard is in P5. This is worked out very well for him.
Wingard, I imagine watching this being very happy, but it isn't him in control of that car. He'll be quite happy with that result, but he won't get it.
This is why you try and rejoin, if possible. There's always a chance. There's always a chance.
So we'll have to see what the situation for penalties is here. Ben the Bear, Alex Bido. I mean, Mikkel is going to have to serve a drive-through penalty.
Tell you what, this is going to be a good test of Revo's racecraft here in the next 5 or so laps, depending on what happens with the safety car.
Well, the start's going to be so crucial for Ben, and I think I know what Ben's doing. Ben, something that I've had the pleasure of seeing, can be quite crafty, and I will say legal, with his restarts. So he could have been utilizing that that track position here to try something a little tricky. Gazieg as well. He's in 15th position here. He's going to get shown a blue flag instantaneously. So this is just such a unique situation here. It's going to be tough for them on those mediums. You know, safety car or not, saving them a bit of life. They'll hold back some fresh, soft rubber, especially with guys like Revo. You got Simdog. I mean, Mikkel, he's freaking fast, but that drive-through, I don't know where the heck it's going to put him.
Yeah.
The drive-through.
Keep in mind, you got to keep those tire temps up as well. It's a lot harder on the safety car when you're on the mediums. You have to do a lot of overturning of the tires just to scrub up some heat.
And it's just added wear at the end of the day. I think we're going to see safety car in this lap here.
I just hope we don't get one lap 22 or something, like 23.
Well, let's hope we have a better safety car restart than what we saw near the final phase of Austria last week.
Oh, yeah. I'd be careful of similar of Wangard's AI if I were him, judging from last week. And what we saw.
Well, we have had the word. It is going to be coming in this lap. Ben the Bear is slowing things down massively here. And he's gone. He's gone. He wants to catch this grid out right now. It's a very tough circuit to try and do it, but he has done a second on Alex Bido, and this is what he does. And we saw it with him in the Endurance Series in Spa. Alex Bido was the only driver that was able to stick with him, and he took 2 seconds out of the entire grid in Spa, and he's a second and a half away right now, and he has a way of doing things, and that's his way right now. Yellow flag through Sector 1. There's a driver off. That's Gazieg, who's immediately been overtaken, I think. Alex Biddle wheel to wheel with Revo now. Revo into second position. Mikow has not had to serve the drive-through just yet. That's Revo into second position. Alex Biddle under threat from the Red Bull behind. 2 seconds in the lead of this race, Mr. Ben the Bear. Of course, he's got to hold that now from a soft runner of Revo, who's just charging through.
Revo should get him. What a start from Ben the Bear. And keep in mind, Bido was not able to get past Gozzieg because the yellow, he hadn't crossed the start-finish line before Ben the Bear went.
And wheel to wheel with Sim coming through Megas and Beckett's throwing the exit out of Cops. Now there's a little bit of contact. There's still wheel to wheel. Sim in 5th position has Panda just breathing down his neck. Gozzieg's out. He's retired. Safety car. Gozzieg
again
out of Cops.
And Impulse overtook Panda as well at the same time.
Well, he might have to give that back. It might not have happened. That is going to be... So, safety car now. Ben the Bear, the restart was all for naught. And he's not going to get away like that again. Mikow.
It's so unfortunate for him. He did such a good job. Now he's got to...
What is Mikow going to do?
Oh, yeah, true.
What is Mikow going to do about this? That Cops corner has been the hot spot this entire week so far. Well, 3 safety cars here at Silverstone. 2 of them pretty well back to back. We saw what... Okay, I just want to say, I called it with Ben. I have to say, I called it with Ben. I knew he was going to try something. I didn't know what kind of gap he was going to be able to pull. He had a fantastic restart, catching the entire grid napping. You know, and the problem with that was there was a back marker in Gozzieg there, preventing Alex Biddle or anybody else kind of getting at him.
It should be... This safety car should only go for maximum 1 more lap, I think.
Well, I'm very curious to see this because Mikow is in such a tight position. So if Mikow does not get a DSQ crossing the line here, what he must do, and I'm just saying, I have no idea what's going to happen, but in order to successfully come in and serve the drive-through penalty that he has got right now, he needs to wait until green flag racing, which means he might need to just drop down. It's such a tough position to be in. Even he's probably wondering, well, what do I do? So he's not coming in. The safety car is going around. You have Ben the Bear, Revo, and Alex Biddle, your top 3. Mikow needing to serve a drive-through penalty unless there was a complete glitch of some kind, and he doesn't actually need to do this. But we're about to find out. He's going to cross the line here. Is it going to hit him? Nope.
Hit him under safety car conditions, I don't think.
Well, I know he can't serve it under safety car conditions, but it wouldn't be the first time I've seen somebody get thrown out of a race that wasn't able to serve it. Panda in 7th position in that other Red Bull, looking to inherit, and Ben the Bear here. This has been really bad for him because if it was just that, we didn't have the third safety car here, excuse me. Possibility. But, man. So we're going to drive to the finish we're going to have here. Of course, for those just tuning in, welcome. Very happy to have you joining us here for round 2 of the Misfits Racing League Oceanic Grid. You're under safety car conditions. Of course, we do tons of racing here on this channel. We have Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and most Saturdays filled with racing for you. Of course, we have 2 more races happening today. On Thursday, we have the Tier 2, Tier 1 racing happening later on this evening. Of course, the Oceanic Grid happening at a completely different end of the day. But hit that follow button if you're looking for tons of F1 tight wheel racing because it happens quite frequently, as we've been seeing for this entire campaign around Silverstone. Race control giving us the go-ahead. The safety car is going to come in, and we'll have to see what Ben the Bear tries to do this time. We'll see what he's got up his sleeve. We saw what he had last time. Revo on high alert now.
I reckon he should go in the middle of, or at the start of the club section. So it's that left-hander after Vale coming from Stowe. He's going there while Revo has to be slow as well. He's gone early.
So we are away back to green flag racing here. Ben the Bear in lead of this race. Revo in second position, hunting him down for the win. Jump on with these guys as we look at the timing tower to see if there's any other tight overtaking opportunities. You can see Panda and Impulse very, very tight to the rear of Simdogga on this restart. Simdogga 1.2 seconds off of Mikau ahead. And Mikau still in this race despite not having served that drive-through penalty yet, which just leads me to believe, does he even have the drive-through penalty at this point in time?
A glitch. Just noticed Revo was really, really up the back of Ben the Bear in the loop.
Such speed coming out of these softs right now. It's going to be so tight and difficult for Ben to try and defend this, especially coming down that hanger straight. Of course, DRS is out of the equation. Penalty situation between these two could also come into the role here. I don't entirely know what it is between these drivers, but it's going to be Mikau as well, tight to the rear of Alex Bitto in a fight for that final podium position. And if Mikau doesn't serve a drive-through here, he doesn't have one. And there it is. He's coming into the pit lane. So could be that he has had it the entire time. The safety car has just worked out in his favor so that he can get it served. So he is coming in. Revo still not ahead of Ben, and we're on the final lap of this race. Ben the Bear has one lap to go here. Revo with a move to the inside through turn 3. A little bit of contact there, a bit of a nudge between the two. Revo, lock up now, coming through turn 4. Alex Bitto's in on the mix. Ben the Bear has dropped into third position. Big Impulse is in fourth, and this is going to be bad for Ben. Real bad for Ben.
This has hit Revo on the inside of, a Revo side pod in the loop, and that's just sent his cars spinning around a bit. This has given Impulse a great chance to maybe steal a podium here.
Impulse in fourth position. Panda's gotten the better of Sim into fifth. We're looking at this battle for podium positions here. Everything on the line now for the Mercedes. He's on these soft compound tires. Ben, no slouch on the mediums. We saw him with a stellar restart for the second safety car. A very difficult position for the third one. And now he is getting hunted down by this Mercedes. Is Ben going to be able to hold it here? Of course, Revo 2 seconds ahead right now. Just heading down through into the Vale chicane. Look at how tight Impulse is to the rear of Ben the Bear. Going to be so tight here. There's still exchanges happening through. Apollo and Combined are having a battle right now to the line. Alex Bitto takes second. It's going to be Impulse into second. Penalties coming through. Revo, Big Al, and Impulse, your top 3 after penalties as everybody comes across the line here. Wangod into 12th. Look at the penalty. There's such penalty exchanges, so let's take you through it. Revo crossed on circuit first. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Bitto who did second. And then we saw Ben third. Impulse by a fraction crossing fourth behind him, and the rest of this grid came through in a frickin' flash. So let's take a look at how things played out with the penalties. What a race that one was. Revo 2 for 2 here this season now. Wasn't looking like it on that second restart. Ben with super speed there on the restart, but of course the softs with so much pace. It's very possible we would have seen Revo catch Ben, but we'll never get the answer to that one. That safety car threw a wrench in that for the third one. But now let's take a look at the timing tower. Revo front pole with the win here. Very good drive from him. Consistent drive. Big Al from 13th to 2nd. What a drive. He took the game awarded driver of the day. Impulse with a lovely podium Definitely an improvement on his Austrian debut. He went from 5th to 3rd. Alex Bitto remains 4th in this one. Simdaga from 8th to 5th, and that's your top 5 combined in 6th. Ben drops all the way down to 7th. You have Panda in 8th. You have Apollo in 9th with Ruben rounding out your top 10 drivers here. Psycho in 11th. Zaino 12th. Wengod in 13th. Mikau drops all the way to 14th after a very, very unique performance. That drive-through penalty cost him dearly. Gazieg in 15th position. Yukio 16th. T-Mac 17th position. You have Stars in 18th. Trin in 19th, and a multitude of drivers not able to finish out this one. Pop's Corner being the biggest issue for these racers in this one. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Seb, what'd you think of that one overall?
What a finish, eh? Unlucky for Mikau, but well done to Big Al and Big Impulse, eh? Came through when it mattered. We're in the right spot at the right time and kept it relatively clean throughout the race. Well deserved podiums to those two.
That was something else. Very fun Silverstone, of course. Now, to everybody that watched, first and foremost, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed that race. Of course, if you missed any portion of that race or you're looking for highlights, all of that can be found on our YouTube channel, where we upload all that stuff quite rapidly, I have to say. Now, one thing is, if you're looking for a ton more racing, wheel-to-wheel action, be sure to hit that follow button here on Twitch, because we have 2 more 50% distance races today. Of course, we have the Tier 2 grid, which happens at 3:15 p.m. CDT. That's going to be 9:15 p.m. for those in the UK. And then you have the Tier 1 race, which is at the 11:15 p.m. time for the BST zone, which is, of course, going to be 5:15 p.m. CDT. So we have 2 more fantastic races today, but we are going to be jumping off and rating a member of the F1 community here in just a moment. Of course, if you're looking to join the league, race with a great group of friends, we have the Misfits community where we run the league out of. So it's a fantastic Discord. Jump on in. Don't be shy. We're always looking for more people to race with, looking for friends to hang with, and it's just a great time all around. Now, who are we going to raid?